Alright, today's question is from Jason Wright. It's a long one, bear with me. I'm currently training to become a management accountant actually. But I would love to own an online business to have more freedom. I'm considering creating a product for finance professional, as that's what I know most about. What are the first steps I should research or take to prepare myself for success long term in starting a SaaS business? Whew. The first thing I noticed actually is that there's a lot of non-commitment in the language, like I'm considering, I would love to. So it sounds like more of a dream than anything else. And at that point, I would have to wonder, how hard do you really want it? Is that like a wish, something that would be cool? Something that'd be nice, or is it like a really strong need to actually go ahead and build a business? The other thing is having a SaaS business going to provide more freedom? It may not be. Actually, I think that as some positions may actually be better off, like for example, actually I'm not even sure there is any type of business that really give you a lot of freedom. Every business has some problems attached to it. You could be like a really great marketer, doing affiliates for other people, and sure, you get the money keeping on coming, but you still need to find new leads because there is churn and you don't have control over it. So I'm not sure there is any real form of freedom. But I'm saying that, but I feel I'm pretty free with my business more than as an employee type of. But anyway, you have to just make sure that your why is really, really strong and that freedom is really going to be reached through that. Because if you realize that later on that actually having a SaaS is not giving me more freedom, then your why is not going to be strong enough. So as soon as there is a bump on the road, then you're gonna give up. So that's kind of typical. So here are the 3 things that I will recommend you do. The first one is, because we all got 24 hours in a day and you're already filling those 24 hours with something else, be it your training or some other things. It could be, I don't know, watching television, reading news, browsing on the internet, performing some other activities. Something has to go, because creating a business actually do require some investment of time. Small story, when I actually started QuickMail almost 6 years ago actually, I started doing setting aside 2 hours every day to work on my business. And I had a full-time job, I still have a family with 2 kids, and so my day was pretty packed. So what I gave up was evenings. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, work for 2 hours until 6, then go on breakfast, prepare, go to work, come back on the evening at 6, spend 2 hours, dinner with family, and then go to bed with the kids. And that was the routine for 8 solid months. So do 2 hours, I think, is a minimum. Actually, you may be able to do with less, but honestly, if you really want it and you want to succeed, I would definitely put at the minimum 2 hours per day, just purely working on your business. So that would be my first point. And of course, something's gonna have to give up. So you will need to trash something else so you can have those 2 extra hours. What is it? Only you can tell. But you have to be willing to do that for at least 8 months. All right. Second thing, I would say focus on getting as many interviews as you can. Now, the interviews should be around problems that they have and how they can solve it. You don't have to have the solution. Try not to sell any product. Try to keep on digging as vertically as you can. So difference for people watching between digging vertically or horizontally. Horizontally is like understanding the entire business. It's like, oh, okay, so you do shipping. Or tell me about how you do shipping. Oh, okay, and how do you actually do customer satisfaction? Oh, okay, how do you do support? That's horizontal. Where vertical is more like, okay, so how do you do shipping? Oh, you do like this way. What happened, in the shipping process when XYZ happened? Oh, and when this happened, what happens, and so on and so on. This is more vertical. The money is always vertical, never horizontal. Horizontal is basically getting free training from someone. So you can imagine going into an interview with a professional and you will understand roughly how the business is working. So you're basically sucking their time and you provide very little value. But when you go vertical, you help the other person to actually think and reflect on, is that actually the best way of doing things? And that's really where the exchange takes place. That's where the money and the value is created. All right, so get as many interviews as you can. Those 2 hours should be concentrated purely on doing growth and business related things. So don't spend time developing, designing a logo, finding a name for your product, whatever. Doesn't matter, all of that. So no business card, no nothing. Just go purely focus on getting as many interviews as you can. And number 3, I would say consume only the information that you need for the next step. It's all too easy to sort of like thinking like, oh, I may need this information later down the road, so I'm gonna read about this. Like, oh, how does that work? I don't know, like, I always give the example of an IPO where it's obvious you're not gonna get an IPO, or how do you actually sell your company? This is not the thing that you need to know right now. So basically it's entertainment, because when that time will come and you will need to do an IPO, you will need to reconsume this information, and very likely you won't even be the person doing the IPO anyway. So don't read those things, or at least be honest with you and take this as a pleasure time or entertainment. That's it for today. As usual, if you have any question, put it in the comment, thumbs up, and I see you tomorrow.